Hello, welcome to another Sunday chat with me, Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. This is my little chance to have a catch up with you and tell you all about the things that are coming up and the things that I've been up to and where we are and what the state of play is. This is the Sunday chat for the 25th of April 2021. Yes, apparently we are now officially, so I'm told, I don't know how official it is, out of the pandemic, and that's great news. So hopefully the government will be starting to lift things. They probably are going to stick to their roadmap, which most people, of course, are hoping that it will not be extended or there'll be any more excuses. But hopefully it means that all of us can go and enjoy a little bit of normality. And I just wanted to thank you, everybody who has supported me through the last 12 months, or over 12 months now, is it 13 months, since the pandemic started, and have been watching all of my videos and maybe have discovered me through this particular time. So thank you very much for that. It's been great to bring you, as best I can, some videos of this wonderful country and also this brilliant county in Sussex where I live. More about that a little bit later. As ever, I have a whole list of things, quite a long list today. First thing I wanted to just say is I did a bit of a silly thing the other day. I was trying to make space in my email box, and I thought if I was to delete all the emails that I had sent, because I'd sent them, I'd still have all the emails that I had received. But it turns out in deleting all of those in order to try and half my used up space, it's also deleted a number of those that have come in that I have replied to. Now, if you have sent me an email and I have replied to it, or I haven't replied to it, you haven't heard from me, can you send it again, please? I know that there is a few that I had ready to reply, but for some reason they've disappeared. I'd very much appreciate that. So if you haven't heard from me, then do send another email. richard@vobes.com is the address. Thank you very much. One of the things I wanted to address is you will have noticed every now and again I'll put up a video that is completely unrelated to what I normally do, which is heritage, landscape and nature. And I occasionally put up ones about spam. These are spam calls that come in, and the reason that I do that is I want to reach the widest possible audience with those videos, because it's to warn people who are of a certain age that these people do this, so just be aware of it. I know a lot of people will listen to them and go, well, I can see it's a spam immediately, but there are people out there who may have seen it and thought, oh my goodness, it's so easy to be caught out. So I do put them up there for that reason. They also, surprise, surprise, attract quite a large audience, and actually I make money on the advertising revenue, which really helps to keep the channel going. So if you see them and it's not your cup of tea, I apologize for that, but actually it is actually helping to support me. And what is nice is I'm making money from the advertising that the spammers thought they were going to make money from me. So it's nice to turn the tables on them and be one up for a change. So if it's not your thing, then as I say, apologies. As you can see, I'm still in the downstairs studio, the old studio, and has yet to move up into the new studio. Progress is happening, but of course it is going to be slow when the sun is shining, and we've had a week or more now. Is it 2 weeks of sunshine? And I feel guilty if I work on the inside and don't go out. So I'm trying to get out whilst the sun is shining as best I can. So as yet I have to finish painting the walls and finish off a number of things. Of course, I've got the roof to sort out in my place, but I do want to move the studio up there so we've got a bit more space. But for the moment, I'm still down here and just bringing you up to speed. And of course, I'll make videos on that progress so you'll be able to see what's going on. The lovely Julia and I have been chatting, and we may not be doing our Canal trip this year, mainly because I think with everybody unable to really go abroad because of all the various hoops that people have to jump through, We felt that the canals are probably going to be a bit busy, and of course a lot of people are going to be doing staycations where they try and stay in the UK as much as possible, because nobody wants to pay for the extra tests or the vaccination things or the certificates or whatever it is to prove that they're okay. So we were thinking we would like to try and plan some more ways, and we're trying to work out what to do. But poor old Julia has been, and as you will, most women who've got children at home and their husbands go out to work and would have been dealing with young kids, haven't really had much of a break. So I said to Julia, I said, look, we need to try and get an Airbnb. Obviously, we can't really do van life with little Joe with us. But we would try and do a little away and go on some walks and go into some forests and all of that. So I'm putting out feelers to see if we can do that, hopefully very soon. So we'll also bring something a bit different. I know it's not quite a complete break for the lovely Julia by not taking her child with her, but he is nearly 2. And it's a bit of a tricky old age to leave with somebody else who doesn't know all the nuances that he's got. But if I take her with me and we go off and do some walks and we make some videos, I know the audience will love to see all of that. They love to see little Joe, and I can nip out in the early mornings and do some videos, and then in the mid-morning and mid-afternoon we can make another one. So there'll be a mixture. So we're just looking at that potential possibility as we get into the warmer parts of the year, which is rather handy. And of course we want to do this whilst the other children are at school, so that it is a bit easier to find places. So that's going on from that. And that brings me on to, for those of you who do watch the Vogue Show, which I do on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and also my Listen with Vobes, as we get into the spring and more potential for going away and exploring more of this wonderful country, then I feel that there may be some breaks in those transmissions. So when we get to the end of the book that we're reading in Listen with Vobes, which is London Belongs to Me, and we're very close to the end of that, there's going to be a gap whilst we get through the year, and I want to concentrate on the Bold Explorer stuff. And then when we get it back into the autumn, we'll all gather round the fire again and I'll read you some more books. And with the Vogue Show, we'll just be a bit of an ad hoc here, there and what have you. As we come to the end of this pandemic, which I was trying to do as much entertainment to keep people who were stuck at home or furloughed or working at home who just wanted a bit of a break, then I just need to ease a little bit back myself, because I've been obviously working pretty hard to do that. And also I want to take off in the van and go places, but I don't want to announce where I'm going and when I'm going. Although my son Billy is quite happy to come in, and if I go, Julia said that she'd be happy to come in and keep an eye on the place. I don't want to sort of just tell everybody exactly when it's happening. I just want to be able to go do the stuff, come back and keep the videos coming, so that, just for the security of it, really. So there may be a few breaks in that. And yes, so look out, hopefully, for some van stuff. Of course, I'm not just going to do all of that. I will be going to some places and hopefully visiting some of my viewers. There are those who are spread around who very kindly said come and stay. So looking forward to doing some of that, or stay nearby in the van. I hope to get out this week to film the Bluebells. We do this every year, and people do love it. It may be that I visit some places that have them that I've been to before. It may be that I find some new places and just stumble on them. Of course, the Bluebell season, it varies from pillar to post, but at least I do hope that we can bring some of those to you. I'd love to film the Bluebells and see them, so look out for those. The Sussex Border Walk, didn't manage to get one in this week, and I was hoping that over the next day or so to get out and do that, but I've noticed that there's a bit of wind and it looks quite gusty. The sun is shining, it looks fantastic, so I may or may not, I don't know, it really depends. Sometimes when I'm filming these more productive shall we say, higher production valued ones, I really want to have all the conditions just right so it's smooth, because I work very fast when I'm out. I try to get to these places before everybody else is up and about, so that I am feel a bit easier to go and film everything, that nobody's looking at me or saying, what are you doing, or no, you can't film there, or whatever thing it is. So I do try to sort of get out there, because it is only me. I'm trying to not only construct the video in my mind and basically write the script as I go along, but also operate the camera, make sure everything's exposed as correctly as I can, and all those things. And it does become difficult when it's busy and there's lots of people and you're waiting for things, or there's road noises and all the rest of it. But wind is a pain. Wind and rain are the two things which I try to avoid when filming, especially the more higher end stuff that I do. So it does look a bit gusty, and that makes it just a bit harder. So I will do videos and I will go for walks and stuff in it, but it may not be the Sussex border path, which I want to try and keep as well as I can. And that brings me on to, I don't know whether you remember that this time last year I was doing something called In Search of Sussex. And I want to go back. I was watching some of those where I am walking around. I was following routes in books, and I do want to present some of those, so I want to bring back that. I know I've had a few people saying, are you going to do that again? And yes is the answer. And I want to try and get over more into East Sussex, which is part of the county that has been desperately ignored by me, not on purpose, but because West Sussex has been more available. And now I've got the van and the ability to sort of go and perhaps stay overnight, late at night, and so I've got the early morning to go and do stuff. Then I want to try and get some walks. It may not be that I follow a particular book. I may just do a series of walks and call it In Search of Sussex, just to give it a bit of a brand, and use the same sort of music that I was doing before, and that same sort of feel, using churches and landmarks really for my locations. So that's what I'm thinking of over the spring and the early summer, where possible, basically. You may know also, you may have seen that I have often put some of my videos with a pretext or preference with in the quest for England. And I've been thinking about this quite a lot, actually. I've been reading a book here, which I thoroughly recommend if you're interested. This is called The English Landscape in the 20th Century. And it's quite depressing. It's by Trevor Rowley, and it's a brilliant book. It is a brilliant book. And the reason I say it's depressing is it points out so very in detail how much building and change has happened to the landscape in the last 100 years. And that's why it's depressing. We've come a long way technologically, and we have a far better life, and the roads are generally easier to navigate and get from pillar to post. But there's been a huge cost on how much landscape has been gobbled up, the uglification in many places of the types of architecture that is being used, the amount of land grab for all the railways and particularly for road transport, and of course the various different types of pollution that's come about, not just in terms of chemicals in the air, but noise pollution. And it is amazing when you see how much space has been used up for municipal car parks, whether they be at airports or train stations or for out-of-town shopping areas. And then all the new towns and the garden cities and all sorts of interesting things that have sprung up. And every time I read a chapter, I am greatly disheartened, but it's a double-edged sword, because we've had all these amazing improvements for our lives, but there is this cost to our island, which has only a limited amount of space. But it's a fantastic book. I do recommend it if you are interested. And it really pinpoints how much change has happened so incredibly fast over the last 100 years, somebody's elongated lifetime. So going back to this quest for England, I realised that very often the England that I'm in search of, the quest for it, is very different because of this change, because of so much change that has happened, is very different from person to person. I think that before the 1940s, before the Second World War, there was an England that a lot of people would recognise and have that shared notion of what England was. But I think since the war, as new people have grown up and as the population has expanded and as new people have come in to the country and have had their influence on the towns and places and things, the England that I'm looking for is so much different from everybody else's, no less legitimate, as we all have our own concept of what that might be. For some, it's a bit of a racist place. For others, it's a bit of a wonderful place without any of that racist connotations. That it's a very strange and interesting dichotomy of different people. So I think that my thoughts on that going forward is that I'm going to be looking for and exploring my England, what England is to me. Nobody can then criticise and say, but that's not England. It'll be my England, and how I see it and the values that I think about and what it is I'm looking for. I have a feeling that my England has long gone, but there may be skeletons or remnants or bits of it hanging about in the landscape. So I shall be continuing with that. I want to thank, talking of books, Ian Dance, who very kindly sent me this fascinating book, which I believe must be a true story. I haven't started reading it yet. I'm very much looking forward to it. The £2 Tram by William Newton, which is the story of two young boys from Sussex who go off basically in search of a better time, I think. It's one of those books that apparently is, a charming read. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you, Ian, for sending that. If anybody's got books like that you've read and you could recommend or you want to pass on, please do send them to me. I absolutely love it. It's part of my England that I'm desperately trying to cling on to, I feel. I also want to thank Danielle, who has, talking of England, has sent me some, or given me actually, I met her in town, some hollyhock seeds. We've got some deep pink, some pink and some white hollyhock seeds to go in my garden. For me, hollyhock seeds are a quintessential English country flower, and I want them growing outside of my house. At the moment, the garden outside in front of my house, which is about 6 foot by 4 foot, is a dreadful mess, but it is of wild plants, and I need to tidy it up and make it a bit presentable for those people who pass by. I need height, so I'm looking forward to some hollyhocks which actually grow height. I have got one, but it seems just to be quite low level with leaves. Anyway, that's it. If I haven't mentioned something else that has happened in the week, and I apologise for that, I hope I brought you up to speed. Looking forward to another week of making videos. Thank you to everybody who has liked and thumbed up and supported and become patrons this week. Can't continue without your support and financial help. I really much appreciate it. But anyway, that's it from me. Have a wonderful Sunday if you're watching this on Sunday. Enjoy yourselves and take care. And thanks again. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.